Welcome back to Trash Radio. I'm Stained Haynes. Today, we're in for a real treat. I'm going to be reading selected passages from the BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm coffee table book. It includes free refills. Written by none other than Jarod Kintz, author, artist, duck farmer, heavyweight champion of the Ozark Mountain Kumite, fellow operator, and stand-up guy. Come on down. Who said manufacturing in America is dead? We make all sorts of stuff. We make war, fake money, fake news, and fake food. We also make real food, too. BearPaw Duck Farm's organic orange-legged aquatic birds are now 100% factory fresh. You can hardly taste the machine. Mix a gynecologist with a mechanic and add in manufacturing for the freshest duck farm experience. I don't sell anything like that, but I do have a few pet waterfalls for sale. Why eat today when you could instead eat an omelet? If you have money or something to trade, then you have a high enough IQ to shop at BearPaw Duck Farm. Are those flamingos or are they giraffe ducks? The only way to tell for certain is by taste. BearPaw Duck Farm's sales emails are 100% free. Each one reads like a romance novel. And when you get down to the end, you'll either want to fall in love or buy something. Both are good, but the latter is better. Which is healthier to eat? The burger and fries in a Happy Meal or the accompanying plastic toy? Not only does BearPaw Duck Farm sell real food, but every purchase will include free stairs. Slinky sold separately. When you arrive at BearPaw Duck Farm, ask for Natalie. Natalie doesn't work here, and nobody here knows anybody named Natalie. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't ask for her. We have a cozy lobby where you can wait for her, with comfy wooden benches and cold coffee to drink. Coaching is the only thing where the more someone else practices, the better you get. That's my kind of hard work. Popeyes is coming to town, and with it, the spicy chicken sandwich. As a duck farmer, I'm jealous. I wish I had a food item that customers were willing to stab each other over. What great marketing. We offer something that's worth getting knifed in line for the chance to buy. The key to dancing is to do it without music. Whoever first paired dancing and music together was a lunatic, like a duck running a marathon, and would have been more useful to society if squeezed out of a tube of toothpaste. 9 out of 10 dentists agree with me. Did you know a pack of crows is called a murder, while a group of swimming ducks is called a raft? One represents the taking of life, and the other, a lifesaver. One time I tried to join a gang. Turns out it was just a bunch of ducks standing around smoking, and not the dangerous geese I was seeking. When I put off a task until the last minute, I'm not procrastinating. I'm exercising great patience. I learned that from my ducks, who do nothing all day, but still manage to accomplish everything they are supposed to do. I wrote a duck dictionary. It's got one word in it that's defined, the word quack. However, it's as thick as a normal dictionary, because that one word means everything. A stranger asked where I'm from, and I said I was from Jacksonville. His brow furrowed, and he said he didn't remember me. I thought to myself, oh no, have I just been caught editing myself out of his memory? So, I grabbed the duffel bag full of ducks and ran out the room. I once saw a canyon shaped like a swimming bird. Was it a duck? Well, I quacked, and it quacked back. When something is thrown at someone, why do people shout, "Duck"? I'll tell you why. It's because swimming flybirds are the world's greatest dodgeball players, and their name is synonymous with the quick athletic reflex needed to avoid getting hit. People pay top dollar to eat my duck eggs. I wish they also paid bottom dollar, plus all the ones in the middle, because honestly, what am I going to do with $1? Fiat currency isn't money, it's a weapon. Every duck farmer knows this, and you can only pretend the fake is the real for so long before mass starvation takes place. No matter how fat your kid is, I'm going to call him Sport. Hiya, Sport. Then I'm going to tell him that Gatorade is a subpar energy drink, and if he really wants to chug something powerful, he should gulp down raw duck eggs. I was sitting on a sofa petting a duck like a cat when a Russian walked through the door holding a watermelon. And my friend looked at him and said to me, "That's my roommate, Yuri." I replied, "Your roommate is a watermelon?" How to choose an orchid plant from the nursery. Bring a stereo. Play some Mozart. And whichever one dances the liveliest, that's the one you take back home to meet your ducks. You could play Beethoven, but he was deaf, so his music is a little too Helen Keller-esque for my taste. I love how pancake syrup comes in a sports bottle. That makes it easy to squirt in your mouth while running a marathon. But if you are really thirsty, try drinking scrambled duck eggs. If you hate math and English, then you'll really hate algebra, with its numbers and letters, because it combines both. To survive in life, you must pivot, which is why I'm now tutoring at used duck prices. Here on my duck farm, we try to be relatable, like an orphan at a family reunion. You should try the leftover meatloaf. It tastes like 1991. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm a moron. Fool me 3 or more times consecutively, and I'm a voter. Not even ducks are that dumb. I was walking through a forest when I thought I heard a tree fart. But no, it was just one of my ducks. It had set up a vending booth and was selling whoopee cushions to politicians who had run out of speech ideas that are sure to make voters cheer. I'm too busy duck farming to watch many movies, so I don't know. Is it Scarface or is it Scarface? Either way, I am a knitting gangster. Ducks love swimming, but they also love drinking. Same with me. In fact, I could drink you under the table. It's amazing how watery the lower half of your body is, and so I'll probably need to use a straw. Both a rose and a cactus have thorns, and while the rose may say, "I love you," the cactus says, "Fuck off." I think that's important to remember, and it's the ideal way to farm ducks. Kevin Bacon has a name made for breakfast, and no one knows this better than Johnny Scrambled Duck Eggs. Ask me how to get free coffee in the morning after 3:33 p.m. Instead of a cherry on top of a milkshake, why not a duck riding a unicycle? It makes more sense than your decision to try to vote your way to freedom. I sell yawns. Buy one, and someone else gets one free. Be careful. They're contagious. They should only be used in the confines of political discourse. I tested all the merchandise out on my morning ducklings before packaging. I just pooped out a duck pond. The guy in the next stall to me in the Walmart bathroom was probably thinking, "What's with all the quacking?" Here at BearPaw Duck Farm, I'm trying to harness heat lightning as a power source. So far, the only place I've managed to capture it is on camera. I'd probably love the sound that's being made when an air guitarist gets struck by lightning while performing. I'd use that sizzle to flavor my duck soup. Of course, I'm open to seasoning my duck soup with other sounds, like track 3 from U2's classic 1987 hit album, The Joshua Tree. Though I might have to charge an additional $19.95 for such an exotic flavor. When swimming 50 yards, I mowed one of them, and that's why I never finished the race. If I kept going, I probably could have made the Olympics, but now all I've got to show for my time in the water is 25 ducklings. A bicycle rode itself to my house, where I gave it swimming lessons at $50 an hour, so it paid me 37 cents before telling me I should write a book on duck farming. I'm now selling duck soup popsicles in vintage meatloaf colors. The flavor of 1991 has never looked so good while camping. Just ask Bigfoot. Love is everywhere, but love isn't everywhere evenly. There is more love in the Ozarks than anywhere else, because that's the location of BearPaw Duck Farm. Sometimes I look at hills of the Ozarks and think, this is where I want to raise 3 kids. 1 boy, 1 girl, and 1 non-binary future Starbucks barista. Then my ducks quack, and I snap back to reality, as no child of mine would ever serve such inferior coffee. At BearPaw Duck Farm, I sell used VCRs and SwimmingBirds, and I'm all out of VCRs. You can't push rewind on the deals I'm offering, and right now, you can trade in your old car for a brand new duck. It's so fresh it's still in the egg. White ducks have big orange spatulas for feet. But will they kick over pancakes before they burn? No. They like their flapjacks flavored like the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. There is a coming food shortage crisis, and so I started a duck farm. I can't start one after everyone is starving. It has to be up and running like Roger Bannister. Duck eggs, the energy drink in a shell. Now available in an assortment of flavors that can easily be digitized and uploaded to the cloud, to later be enjoyed through your eyes and ears. If you're going to get murdered, what better place for it to happen than in a cemetery? It's like my grandpappy always says, you can't make coffee out of duck soup. I now sell duck soup in 3 bowl sizes, medium, large, and extra large. Sure, the medium has been made the small, in theory, because it has the least quantity per serving. A simple labeling issue, but my name tag says Bob, which is the ideal name for dyslexics to read. I own the world's first farm that also raises ducks. I teach them how to swim, but not the ducks, because they are born knowing that water skill. Before playing dodgeball, eat a package of Not Getting Hit, now available in duck soup flavor. I like to do things and pretend I'll never do them again. I tend to value something more if I think it's the last time I'll get to enjoy it. I save every memory and savor every last moment I believe to be the last. Today is your last chance to tour BearPaw Duck Farm. Until tomorrow. Whoever said romance is dead needs to meet me at the Ozark Cemetery and help me get this thing to a hospital. It's coughing and cold, but we can still save it. I'll bring duck noodle soup. Mark Twain and Samuel Clemens, never the twain shall meet. But if they did meet, it would have to be at a sci-fi networking event with clones. Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise know what I mean, and both actors love my duck soup. Show me your favorite memes, and I'll tell you if I have time to meet up for coffee. If they're not absurd, then order yours today from BearPaw Duck Farm for only $19.95. I'm now offering free refills on duck soup. Must be 21 years or older to drink. Julia Roberts loves it, and she said it reminds her of the horse piss she used to drink as a young man. Today is the last day to take a tour of BearPaw Duck Farm until tomorrow. The ticket price today is $19.95, but with the way the Federal Reserve is printing fake money, tomorrow it may cost you $1 trillion. Just ask 2005 Zimbabwe. In honor of Tom Cruise and the clone of Tom Cruise, dancing lessons are now 2 for 1. My prices are so low, you just might feel obligated to buy some duck soup, which comes with free reels. I know romance is dying, and I feel bad that I won't be able to bring it any homemade duck noodle soup. But at the same time, I am happy to be sold out. Julia Roberts galloped past BearPaw Duck Farm and drank up my entire stash, which was full and stored in Branson's water tower. As an amateur air machine architect, I designed contraptions meant to take me from point A to point Z without touching points B through Y. My first air machine was modeled off the aerodynamic bodies of ducks, which is why it required water to operate and left poop everywhere. As an amateur air machine architect, I designed contraptions meant to take man from point A to point Z without touching points B through Y. My first air machine was modeled off the aerodynamic bodies of ducks, which is why it required water to operate and left poop everywhere. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend my duck soup flavored toothpaste. Finally, a toothpaste that was designed to be paired with orange juice. It also goes well with red wine, if you like to start your morning off that way. Free networking tip number 13. Instead of offering your hand when meeting someone, extend a rubber duck that squeaks. It's just a small gesture that says, I'm here, you're here, and I really care. While 9 out of 10 dentists, or 99.9%, recommend my duck soup flavored toothpaste, exactly 0 decided to buy my new math class, Understanding How Fractions Work, and Can Work to Make You Rich. The book is only $19.95 and comes with free refills. She said she loved me, and I believed her, because she was looking directly at another man when she said it. It's the extra romance that gives my duck soup the flavor that sticks in your mouth for weeks, if not years. As far as duck farms go, mine has the best marketing in the world. But I don't even have to have the best duck farm in my small town. I know of one other duck farm locally, and they're better. Does that make me the second best? Only because I don't know of a third duck farm. I dance like my legs are made of jello. I know. Exotic and romantic, right? But my dancing also comes in duck soup flavor and is for sale in small, medium, and buffet style. I dance like a dead man rolling out of a coffin, and that's also how Campbell's tastes. But if you fill up a thermos with my duck soup, it might help you win the marathon at the next Olympics. I'd like to sponsor your performance. My 2 favorite colors of the rainbow are gold and leprechaun. At BearPaw Duck Farm, both are acceptable forms of currency for trade. My ducks are being snatched one by one in the dark of night by a stealthy predator, probably a bobcat. To show this thief he is not welcome, I have posted a no trespassing sign. That ought to stop him. People have names, but my ducks do not. That may be why I like them more. I'm a duck farmer, and I'm trying to raise them to be productive members of society. It's hard, because so many of them seem to want to join a gang. My love is a dandelion in a tornado, and hers is a lit birthday candle in a hurricane. That's why my duck soup has the slight taste of windflower. How do you catch Ozark's fog in a net? It's like fishing for silence. Teach a man to grow quiet, and he'll starve for the rest of his life. That's why I farm ducks, because trees have feeling too. You can bottle water, but fog is a little tougher to capture. Because what kind of container could be used to hold the essence of mystery? At BearPaw Duck Farm, our swimming birds drink only the freshest water air. Who would you rather buy your duck soup from, me or some other guy? Okay, fine, but what if that other guy is sold out? Then what? What do you mean you'll just go to Popeyes for a spicy chicken sandwich? A pond is just a giant bowl of rain soup. BearPaw Duck Farm has one that's 1/4 full, or 3/4 empty, depending on if you are a realist or a realist. I myself am a realist, which is like a pessimist's pessimist. If you dig deep enough inside you, you'll find music. At BearPaw Duck Farm, I hired an excavator and I unearthed saxophone jazz. Taste the flavor for only $3.33 per song. I haven't changed since starting BearPaw Duck Farm. I still like my relationships like I like my eggs, over easy. As for my ducks, I started counseling the males last week. I told them their sexist behavior was unacceptable, and that in this genderless society, we are all equals. I told the males that if they wanted, they could fill out a form and change their gender to any one of 333 options. Because who are they as a duck is not defined by the genitalia they were born with. One duck is now a full gender slurpee, and he wishes to join the army because he feels that's where he'll be most accepted these days. At BearPaw Duck Farm, our customer service representatives work 24/7 to make sure you are satisfied. If nobody answers your call within 5 rings, like the Olympics logo, call back in 4 years. A duck walked into a bar, and the bartender saw him and shouted, "Hey, get out of here. We don't serve your kind." And the duck replied, "How did you know I was gay?" I'm inspired by the Darwinian nature of tables. They have legs, which makes them more evolved than fish, but they won't truly impress me as furniture until they have wings like a duck. My duck farm is my side hustle, only there's no hustle in my side hustle. It's more like a gentle saunter, or even a waddle. Ducks are a lot like Helen Keller, except they aren't blind and deaf. But besides that, they're identical. My ducks are free range, and they wander wherever they want. One intrepid traveler just walked to Canada and back, and when I asked it why it didn't just fly, it replied, "I forgot." I dance like a 5-pointed star, one that's also a fish, but I run like a duck. 17 ducks walked into a burning barn, and only 18 came alive. It was a Tuesday. I remembered because the next day was the weekend. In the fog of war, you'll find deceit and misdirection. You'll also find ducks, because I just let them out of their pen, and I'm all about shouting to get you to get down. Ducks are like floating cats. Have you ever cuddled while swimming? A fart is maximum stink with zero visibility. A duck breaks wind like it's karate chopping the breeze. I have dreams. We all have dreams, including my ducks. When you stop dreaming, you die. One time, my uncle stopped dreaming. And do you know where he is now? No, he's not in the dirt. Worse, he's in Florida. Karate is to dancing as ducks are to swimming birds. As for me, I move to music in a more violent manner. I can't give away my duck eggs for free to restaurants because they aren't certified by the FDA. But you can inject the plagues of ancient Egypt directly into your shoulder while shopping at Walgreens. But doctors approve of the latter, and their logo, the caduceus, is serpents. The zebra is the piano of the animal kingdom, and now you can learn to play like Mozart on horseback. If I could coach my ducks to become world dodgeball champions, I can make your musical equestrian dreams a reality. There's not much money to be made in duck farming. That's okay, because the Whisper Factory is now hiring. Report your grandma for suspicious behavior and get paid. I'd like to repair your elevator using only a kayak and a smile. If it's broken, my advice would be to remove the ducks and restart the waterfall. I live in a different time zone than you, which means I am a man of the future, and I can tell you strange and wonderful things. Ask me about the Council of Ducks of 2244, but don't query me for winning lottery numbers, because you don't really want to meet all your extended family, do you? If you have a waterfall for a pet and it's disabled, you can't just buy it a wheelchair. No, it must use an escalator to travel. I now sell the disabled waterfall supplies, duck equipment not included. You need to help your flowing H2O companion moving smoothly through life. Before I became a duck farmer, I wanted to join a gang, but I didn't quite know how it worked. It's like you're walking down the road and you see a guy and think, hey, cool gang color. I like that color, but I'm wearing a different color, so I guess I'll have to murder him. The skills needed to stay employable are changing daily, which is why I'm now offering a class called How to Sew Pants While Riding a Unicycle and Playing the Saxophone Like a Quacking Duck. What are the jobs of the future? Nobody knows, but my class will train you to get hired. Time flies, it's true, but what kind of wings does it have? Butterfly wings? Bat wings? Or eagle wings? It has the wings of a duck, which is why I'm surprised nobody in history has noticed that time also swims. Never criticize someone's quality of work on a job you wouldn't want to get asked to improve upon. If you don't know what I mean, just watch me shovel duck poop out of their pen and see how quickly you stay quiet. Before I serve you duck soup, I'll serve you salad. Some people like salad dressing, but not me. I prefer salad undressing, because being a voyeur adds spice to the dinner. People are all the same. We all think we are unique. That's what I think about ducks. They don't think that about themselves. They think about things like, how can we save the humans from killing themselves? Of course, they have the solution, but they just refuse to share it with us. Have you ever wondered what makes a duck tick? Well, if you were to open one up, you discover that the ticking sound is made by tiny gears that wind around with precision and really make this waterproof bird a wonder of German engineering. When people ask what I do for a living, I tell them I'm an elevator button salesman. Then I ask them if they've ever seen those domed buttons that light up yellow. When they vaguely nod yes,
I say, yeah, I don't sell that particular model. I fib about my occupation because if I tell them the truth, that I'm a duck farmer, they simply wouldn't believe me. Much can be said about saying not much. My ducks only say quack, and for them, by speaking almost next to nothing, they are able to communicate everything. I asked a man wearing a political team shirt whether he could vote his way to freedom. His eyes went blank, like he had 2 duck eggs he was using to stare at me, and he insinuated that I was a communist and possibly a Nazi, because if I don't support the state, I'm both. My scribbled handwriting looks like chicken scratch, but it's not, because it quacks. 2 for the price of 1.5, but only while supplies last. Some of the best gifts are ones the recipient doesn't even know you've given, so they don't ever feel beholden, and they never know how valuable it was or how much it helped them, which means they never feel obligated to repay you. I do that for my ducks all the time. Invention idea. Grass in paintings that actually grows. It's so real, you'll need to cut it using scissors or a tractor, whichever makes the masterpiece more attractive. But don't eat the ducks. They're just an oil-based 2D representation of 3D idyllic farm life. I'm grateful I'm not a decade shorter, because then roller coasters would have to ride me. Ask me why your local police response time is flavored like donuts, and in return, I'll tell you why owning a duck farm is like riding a bicycle. One time, I took a picture of myself sitting in a desk up in a tree. I wish desks grew on trees like fruit, because besides ducks, what better thing to farm than absurdity? The last few years, we've had record homelessness. But how do you make the problem disappear? In a surely unrelated note, Beyond Meat is now sold by globalist retailers. Is it for the people or from the people? Think about that next time your neighbor offers you free duck eggs. You are your own worst enemy. So, solve your problem by fighting yourself. For just such an event, I'm now selling pillows made with real duck feathers at buy one, get one free prices. The idea of samples is simple. What you lose by giving away product, you gain in future sales. That's why I give away free duck eggs. You might walk out of your house tomorrow morning to discover I've tossed a few at your car during the middle of the night. What's so hard about being a detective? The truth can only be in one of 2 places, here or there. Well, I'm here, and so are my ducks, and you're more than welcome to question them. But if one says quack, they'll all agree, so you're better off investigating there. I just talked to an old duck farmer who told me he remembers me from when I was 3 months old. I replied, "Oh, I recall that. That was June of '82. I told you the stock market would crash in 5 years, around October, and you scoffed and called me a pessimist." One time, one guy said he had a stroke reading my absurd writing. So I said, "Thank you for your service." Then I continued washing my dishes in my lawnmower because my ducks are splashing around in the kitchen sink. I sell yawns. Buy one, and someone else gets one free. But be careful, they're contagious. They should only be used in the confines of political discourse. Yawns represent choking hazards for ducks, and should be kept away from ponds and other swimming areas. I recently made my directorial debut in the category of duck documentary in GIF format. I hope viewers don't think my cinematic masterpiece goes on too long, because the extended version comes in at just over 6 seconds, which might be pushing the limits of modern attention spans. If you need a haircut, I have a brand new pair of scissors. I may not be the best barber, but I'm also not the second best. In fact, I'm not a barber at all. That's why my styling services are now on sale when you buy a duck. It's almost sunset, and my grass is still green. I need to get outside and vacuum it before it turns black. Somebody's got to keep the duck farm clean, and it won't be my ducks. I think when you vote, you should be handed synthetic duck meat on a stick for participating in the freedom ritual. Sure, the charred meat will be made of ground-up bugs, but the flavoring, that is 100% organic chemicals of unknown origin. And that's as real as America. People scoffed, mocked me, and said I couldn't be a healer. Well, those people are all dead. So who's laughing now? Me. That's who. Because laughter's the best medicine, besides duck noodle soup, and I refuse to fill their prescriptions. Some people put more thought into what kind of car to buy than what kind of mate to marry. I think that's foolish, because when I'm not duck farming, I'm a bicycle salesman. Well, I actually only have one bicycle to sell, and I stole it, which is what makes it so profitable.
The color of most chewing gum is blue, green, or pink. Why is that? I should invent some translucent bubble gum, so you'd never know you stepped in it until it's too late. Sure, it might taste like dog shit and have that authentic flavor, but the actual source would be ducks. You no longer hit bugs when you drive. Where have all the insects gone? My ducks didn't eat all the bugs, so where are they? They are all in your new hamburger-flavored synthetic meat products. Add cheese for only 99 cents. Old houses make funny noises. One time, I stayed in a decaying place that made sounds like John Waits' 1984 radio hit, Missing You. Personally, I liked it, but the 13 ducks I was sharing a bathtub with didn't agree, so they made me take them to the luxury hotel known as Motel 6. Penguins are Antarctica's Peking duck, and Admiral Byrd just sent me a telegram saying he wants me to come down there and teach him how to ice fish. The trick is not gluing the bananas to your wetsuit and keeping the volume of the Golden Girls set at 33. Vending machines are too heavy. They should float and fly, like ducks. Limit 2 per person per purchase. Signs say things by yelling silently, while dogs communicate quietly through urine. Somewhere in the middle are ducks, and I'm writing a translation dictionary that has one word: quack. That one word has 100,000 meanings or more. My duck farm has more waterfalls per acre than any other shape of measuring land mass. Next time, try circles. Waterproof sticks sold separately. Bags of potato chips have so much air, they can be used as cushions for suicidal skyscraper jumpers. That's called inflation, because you spend more money and get less product. But here on my duck farm, we know the value of $1, and that's why we don't accept them. Rembrandt painted portraits, the Karate Kid painted fences, and I paint my ducks' beaks a brighter orange to boost sales. But I'm not a snob. I still consider those other two guys to also be artists. BearPaw Duck Farm honors courage. We remember and celebrate epic heroism, like the time 300 Spartans battled the entire Persian army, or those few hours on January 6, 2021, where Congress bravely hid from voters who sauntered into the Capitol building like clueless tourists. The hardest part about working my duck and meme farm is getting them to learn how to swim. You probably think they are born knowing that skill, but no. Most memes are born to be drowned out. BearPaw Duck Farm honors courage. We remember and celebrate epic heroism, like the time 300 Spartans battled the entire Persian army, or those few hours on January 6, 2021, where Congress bravely hid from voters who sauntered into the Capitol building like clueless tourists. After the reality of the 2020s smashes the jello-like face-in of idiotic hope, and the survivors of the orchestrated conflict are starving, BearPaw Duck Farm will be there to feed them for a price. But if you have no money, you can fill your belly with memes, which I offer for free. A frozen splash of BearPaw Duck Farm's SwimmingBird Soup in a dress would look more like a woman than a Michelle Obama. Of course, my duck soup can wear other things, like a tuxedo to your funeral. If you'd like to be a dance instructor at BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm's House of Shush, you're hired! We dance in silence, so deaf people don't feel left out. I had a dream. I had a duck that was 90% beak and 10% body. It was so heavy, it had a hard time swimming. It had an even harder time swimming because the other ducks were holding it underwater. I wonder what this means. I once fed my duck hot sauce. It was shitting burritos for weeks. I froze them all if you'd like to reheat and eat. Hey, what are you doing later on? Today is Customer Service Training Day at BearPaw Duck Farm, and you should drop by to learn the proper etiquette for slamming the phone down on a belligerent client. It's that wavy line where art meets science. I feel like I grossly overpaid for my grilled cheese at Panera. If I wanted a bread sandwich, I'd dress like a duck and go hang out by a lake. At BearPaw Duck Farm, we don't like customer service because we don't believe the customer should have to pay and help out too. If you miss spending all day shopping for designer clothes, you'll love it here at BearPaw Duck Farm. We don't sell any of that, but you've clearly got an excess of money you need to exchange for fleeting moments of exhilaration. I can offer you that exact thing. I sleep like a duck is trying to run, but I swim like a duck naps. Lessons are now on sale at blindfold prices. I remember 24 hours ago like it was only yesterday. I should design a gun shaped like a duck, so I can go hunting incognito. The deadliest part of a mousetrap is the cheese, and I've nearly been killed by mozzarella. An envious man sees what others have, and he is jealous. But a blind man sees what others have, and he is grateful, because he could see. That's why I feed my ducks muffled Helen Keller sounds that have been archived in Tupperware. In a dream, I had a duck that was 90% beak and 10% body. Had a hard time swimming because it was so heavy. It had an even harder time swimming because the other ducks were holding it underwater. Wonder what this means. Geese and ducks look similar, in the same way Bibi Netanyahu looks like a manager of a Starbucks. Well, if that manager had a side hustle of being a genocidal hitman. Potential customers always ask me, Jarod, what are you selling over at BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm? I tell them, if you don't know what I'm selling, then you're the best kind of buyer. Everything I know about farming I learned from Martin Cheselwitt Humphreys. He taught me how to drive a John Deere, how to insult old dead men to make them cry, and how to utilize those insults to water my crops during a drought. We liked to play tag, with me and my tractor and him running on foot. And I think about our last chase sometimes when I'm staring up in the clouds, yelling abuse into the sky, and it starts to rain. He was always a sensitive man, and my duck farm is grateful for it. The Olympic women's ball sack is proudly sponsored by BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm. Remember, kids, if you can't run with the big boys, try competing against the girls. When you think about creatures of violence, you probably don't think about ducks. But remember this, behind every pillow fight, there was once a fluffy bird. A bully may seem like a goose, but inside he's a duck. That's why the best way to handle one is gently, so his muscles aren't flooded with adrenaline when you slit his throat. To save yourself from danger, make duck noises. This only works if you also appear to be invisible. My philosophy on choosing t-shirt colors for original BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm designs is the shirt color has to complement the logo, which is orange. That means no pink, with all due respect to Dunkin' Donuts. I saw a man in the park who walked like a duck. I don't mean he had a seesaw motion to his gait. I mean he swam on land like he wished he could almost fly. What is the most valuable thing in the world? Nothing. Because who is able to acquire nothing? Not getting nothing is getting it. And once you get it, you don't have it anymore. I learned this from a duck while watching it try to fly and swim at the same time. The absence of sound can itself be an alarm. When ducks go from quacking to quiet, there is panic in the silence. The Flash can run, Aquaman can swim, and Superman can fly. Basically, every duck is like a triple superhero, and I think that's worth a few $1 billion in ticket sales. Every time a duck talks to you, it says quack. That's a species so advanced, it has reduced the complexity of communication down to a one-word language. I told my ducks that the Great Library of Alexandria was torched by arsonists in 275 AD, and their only response was quack. They weren't upset, not because they don't read, but because they probably realized the building was burnt after all the books were secreted away. People think one picture is worth 1,000 words, but to a duck, 1,000 pictures is worth only one word. Moses couldn't lead people out of Egypt until after he spent time in the desert learning how to be a shepherd. I think about that every evening as I herd my ducks into their pen, and how one day I might be able to outperform the best magicians in the world. Mold won't grow on McDonald's, so if a life form with no brain won't even eat their food, What's that say about the intellects of McDonald's customers? BearPaw Duck and Meme Farm caters to more discerning customers. Men make laws to enslave other men, and then men call it freedom. If you want to know about freedom, go watch ducks splashing around in water. Don't play dodgeball with a duck, because you will lose. A duck will do what a duck is named. Without approximating, I know exactly how many ducks I have. I wish I could say the same for my remaining days on this earth. Ducks are practically defenseless, and as a result, they have many predators. There are foxes, coyotes, wolves, raccoons, bobcats, hawks, and Janet Yellen. I like my duck eggs cooked like I like my relationships. Over easy. I pour my morning coffee like ducks splash in a pond. Is an extended blink a micronap? That's the thought that crosses my mind when I drive like Helen Keller. A coffee table has 4 legs, but it cannot run. A duck has 2 legs, but is not considered living room furniture. Or is it? When you buy a sofa from me, you get one for free. I've never had a spicy chicken sandwich worth getting stabbed over. But that's the kind of organic marketing experience I'd like to bring to duck farming. Starbucks tastes like watery duck shit. I mean, it probably does, because it's not like I've ever drank something so gross. But I have tried duck shit. Don't you just hate it when you step in dog shit? Especially if you're walking with a friend, and as you smell it, and the stench keeps pace with you, you begin to wonder if your friend crapped his pants. Thankfully, what comes out of a duck's anus looks more like coffee and fills your nostrils like yesterday's news. I smile when I let my ducks out of their pen in the morning, and I watch as they sprint across the grass, necks arched down, beaks close to the earth, as they scour the dirt for bugs. Then I get sad, because eating bugs is natural for ducks, but not for humans. And it's what the international bankers want the people to live on, as they reduce everyone to poverty through their fake money, while they themselves buy up all the real assets and make meat inaccessible to the masses. You ever notice how people who drive Jeeps honk at each other and wave as they pass by? They could be complete strangers, but in the cult of Jeep, the only barrier to instant friendship is driving a Jeep. Even my ducks are more discerning with their associations. What's the difference between prison cells and duck pens? The first keeps the wicked in, supposedly, and for that service to society, the owners and judges and corporations who get near free labor from the inhabitants reap massive profits, incentivizing the system to create more laws and to ensnare more serfs to do more work for the enrichment of the few. And the other enclosed cages keep the birds safe from night predators at the expense of the feathered animals' freedom, though in this case, all involved are better off and benefit from the arrangement. Some questions need to be answered, while some answers need to be questioned. Between those two are ducks, and they don't give a shit about your pontification. It's March, and my ducks have started laying eggs in large quantities. At least I hope it's my ducks. I'd be mortified to discover I've been eating my neighbor's wife's ovary ovals. In a pop song, it's called a hook because you're a fish. Your ears are a mouth, but talking can only enter, not exit. If the farming world merged with the music scene, my ducks would eat the Beatles. One thing about having a duck farm is I can't easily go out of town for 2 days, because I must put my ducks up at sunset, or they'll get eaten by sunrise. There is a benefit to me, because I have a ready excuse for why I can't hang out in the future, no matter what date you suggest. A duck's ways are a maze. They often wander confused, even though they're their own landscape architects. I used to read the newspaper blindfolded. I found it made me more informed as a thinker. Now I spend my time doing other things blindfolded, like teaching Peking ducks how to fly at the Amelia Earhart School of Aviation.